Hey, it's Shar.
And this is Denver.
And we're just like that. Welcome to the unofficial recap podcast for Max's original series, And Just Like That. We're so excited. Denver,
So excited.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so let's get things started. Hey, so we are back for season 3, episode 3. Denver's joining me this week.
I'm back.
So happy to see your face.
I know, I'm happy to see yours. And surprise everyone, we have video.
Right. Surprise. We're trying new things. We're 3 episodes in. It's never too late to try different things. Last week you were traveling. This week I am traveling. I'm in Miami, Florida.
I'm so jealous.
You said what?
I'm so jealous.
Oh, it's good, Denver. I'm loving the humidity. You can see my hair is a little bushy and ununiformed. And
Okay.
I'm here for the American Black Film Festival. I got some work to do. But I mean, I carved out time while adjusting to this damn 3-hour time change to watch our girls and watch last night's episode, Carrie Go Lightly. And so before we launch into the conversation, I'm curious to know, what were your thoughts about last week's episode?
It was very, as I know we talked a bit offline, it was very poetic.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see the introduction of the hot gardener. I forget his name.
Yes. Adam. I think it's Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy to see him. And I think that last week's episode set up this episode very nicely. I feel like there's a continuation. So I'm excited to get into it.
And I
want to pause you before we start. Are you sure you can hear me? Because I have like 3 microphones here. And I have this one clipped to my MacBook.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you through my headphones just fine.
As long as I sound decent and straight and all that.
You do. You sound great to me, friend.
Okay.
What I will say is that I still maintain that we did not need the premiere. Last week could have been the premiere.
No, absolutely.
Can we agree on that? Like last week could have been the premiere.
How did you waste an episode? Like you only have 10? It was a complete waste.
Yeah, it's 10 weeks, but so here we are. And also I don't have any like updates. Like, there's no updates aside from what we talked to. So let's just launch officially into the episode. Like I mentioned,
Let's do it.
And just like that, season 3, episode 3, Carrie Go Lightly. We see Carrie talking to our friend Amanda, the publisher, and she reveals that she is currently writing and she's exploring fiction instead of memoir, as we kind of like predicted.
Which we thought, yeah.
Because Carrie's been speaking in third person this whole season so far, every time she's in front of her MacBook.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say I did not expect it to be a period piece.
Okay, fair. Me either. I hope we get an answer as to why it's a period piece, because those are 2 different things. Like, you're doing a memoir, it sounds like a love story, but why not keep it modern and along the same themes that you've been writing about as you've been giving us these memoirs in real time, up to speed with what you got going on. So
what is 1846?
It's in the 1840s.
So of course my natural question is, did this woman have slaves?
Well, it is New York, so it could be a 50-50 chance. I do love that that Amanda, she threw out a title about like, what's in right now, all of the fantasy and the fairies, and maybe Carrie's next book could be titled Sex in the Cauldron.
Oh my God. Oh, Chad wife moment.
Oh God, please. Now, Denver, that's enough. That's another podcast. Okay. I come here to escape. I
know.
So then Amanda informs Carrie of speaking requests that she has, because, Carrie doesn't like to be the Avon lady for her books, but she informs her that Google wants to fly her out to Palo Alto for an employee event. South by Southwest in Austin wants Carrie for like a fireside chat to be in conversation with maybe some of her favorite authors. And there's a panel coming up in Williamsburg, Virginia. What did you think about this when did your bells go off? Right.
My bells definitely went off, but also, which I didn't know Carrie was in demand like that. I'm like, Google, South by, like, okay, like you're kind of the big deal.
Yeah.
I guess we don't see enough of her work to really kind of understand like where she sits in the space,
But we did get a glimpse last season when she wrote her memoir. Remember, wasn't it last season she was struggling to do the audiobook, or was that first season? Because remember, she got like an award. I can't remember if that was last season or first season.
I think that was
but she got some big award in previous seasons. So we saw how her career has kind of like And I would hope
Mm.
as a woman in her mid 50s that she'd be doing pretty well in comparison to her early 30s when she was just a columnist running around town.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my mind, like after Big died and she got all that money, she was kind of like doing it for funsies. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. No,
not
yeah.
really like
Yeah.
trying to make a living and hustle. I thought she was just, the white woman doing a book because she
Which
had
I forgot all about that. I forgot she got that life insurance policy from Big because Natasha got some money too,
I
right?
mean, she's not buying that house off of book money.
True. The Gramercy House. That ain't off them books and columns.
No, God, no.
But then we see Carrie. Carrie takes an interest. Carrie takes an interest in the Virginia date, and Amanda teases her about it, like, did we just have a glitch in the system? Because Carrie goes, "What's wrong with Virginia?" And Amanda goes, "Well, I guess you're going to find out," which I looked at as every time, like the writing is so like, is this a premonition? Because I love that the writing is like so specific, but yet vague at the same time. I don't know what adjective is to describe that, but it's a blanket. They do a lot of blanket statements that could be applicable. Yes, ominous.
Yeah.
They could be applicable to more than one situation.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get the next scene. Anthony is at the bakery, honey, and he is hosting a soft opening with Carrie, and Miranda and Charlotte is there, and Seema as guests. And Carrie tells the girls that she's going to Virginia next week for a writers' conference. And since she'll only be an hour away from Aidan, she's going to breeze through for a lunch with him.
Sure.
I've been concerned about her and Aidan because it seems like Carrie, and I talked about this on last week's episode, as someone who, and I wasn't clear about like the conditioning, and I feel like, oh gosh, I'm struggling with my words right now. I feel like it's one of those things where you have to be very, very careful if you don't have clear communication with a partner, because it can really veer into manipulation so easily.
Absolutely.
When it comes to like, oh, I'm giving him his space that he asked for. But clearly she's not safe or happy.
I'm also gonna go close to him and see what happens. Like it's like a test.
Right.
Like it's a test.
Right. Instead of just saying it like you mean it. Communicate your wants and needs clearly. But in fairness, she did last episode, and he still dropped the ball with that damn emoji. Like they had that conversation in the kitchen. I just think that Aidan, and I said last episode that I don't like Aidan for Carrie, and I want them both to end this and move on. They're not at a place right now where it's making sense.
No, especially to do this for 5 years.
No.
No.
So,
but hot fellas, I will say, I like the outfits. Yeah. I want one for Halloween. Like I think that would be so fun. Like and I saw they did a pop-up in New York.
Yeah.
With like merch and stuff. So I'm like, I hope they, I guess, make those outfits, because again, like I really want one.
Oh, Denver, I'm sure you can get one custom made. They're just like denim onesies.
I know. You're right.
I love that. The Angelino in you is already thinking about Halloween.
You have to.
And in fairness, I was like, maybe I should just invest in like some really good like vampire teeth and pop some contacts in and go around asking people, can I come in? I was inspired by Sinners. So I don't know where I'm going to land. Hopefully we will have a Halloween this year. I don't know what things are going to look like, but it's so funny to me. It speaks to the Angelino in you that it's June, right? It's like the second week of June.
It's gay Christmas. You have to start.
And you do have to start thinking about, because you got to get that head start. You got to start purchasing things and make sure you got your rentals and stuff. If you're renting a costume, like ahead of time.
And let's be real, like the year moves fast. It's June now, but we'll blink and it'll be September, and we're like, what are we gonna do?
I know. Let me breathe, okay? Let me breathe, because you're right. We're 2 weeks out from like 4th of July. So like,
and I got man hot dog, no hamburgers, like nothing is ready.
So then we get, like I said, they're at this soft launch, and Carrie tells the girls that she's going to Virginia next week for a writers' conference, and she'll be only away. I just mentioned this, that she's going to breeze through for lunch, and the girls love this idea. Seema asks Carrie, "Why don't you just stay?" But Carrie doesn't seem to want to. She doesn't want Aidan to feel like she's invading his space, which is kind of what we just spoke to.
Yeah, she's also full of shit, because she does.
Yeah,
she does.
Carrie's such a lover girl. She wants to stay.
Yes.
But I'm talking about that eggshell.
My favorite thing about this scene in particular is that Seema was on her phone that entire I guess, lunch.
Uh-huh. I
Everybody's
didn't notice
engaged in
that.
conversation. She's just on
I
her
didn't
phone the
notice
entire time.
that.
Yeah.
What's
Very
that
neat.
to you?
No,
I did not
that's
even
cool.
notice that. But so yeah, no farmhouse, no noise, just lunch, easy breezy. I noticed, and I'm sure you noticed that that's a theme for this episode is easy breezy. Carrie, I also said last week, it does not serve you to be the cool girl. Say it like you mean it. Say your wants and your needs. It doesn't serve anyone to be the easy breezy girl. You should feel safe enough in relationships to clearly communicate. And if it's and have the courage where if your communication is not being met with changed behavior, or at least attempts in changed behavior, have the courage to maybe exit stage left.
Especially at 16.
But I also get it though, Denver, because remember last week's episode, like I feel like Carrie, there's a comfort in like, remember Lisette was kind of like complaining about the dating apps and like how there's pool and I mean there's pee in the dating pool now and things like that. So I think there's a familiarity of like revisiting with Aidan, and it's like a safe choice for Carrie because there's no risk involved because this is familiar peace, a familiar personality, even though there are two different
Well,
stations.
I think it's familiar chaos. I mean, I think it's more so like if you're going
Mm,
to be going through it with someone, you're at least going to go through it with somebody who you
the
kind
devil, you
of
know.
exactly,
You
exactly.
kind of dragged with that. Familiar chaos. I
Familiar
might need to
chaos.
sit with that.
Yeah, it's chaos, but like I'm used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, you kind of just snatched me. I need to take a beat. You kind of just snatched me up with that. I wasn't expecting familiar chaos, but
Familiar
that is
chaos.
essentially what it's giving. Um, so then we see Anthony fussing because business people are not interested in this bread. He's like, our carbs out again. But in fairness, I can't imagine that opening any restaurant would be easy, but a bakery in particular, something about it feels, I guess for me, a bit disjointed. I don't have that big of an investment in my bread. Like I have no qualms going down to the Costco or to the Whole Foods or what have
No,
you and just getting a loaf of bread or and
I mean,
stuff and a croissant
I
from
think
there.
there's a branding disconnect. Like, sure, the idea hot fellas, hot guys serving something is great, but like, hot guys need to serve something that people want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
True.
care how hot you are. Nobody's going for
True.
bread. To your point, if you're like hot fellas, coffee, or it's a branding misstep for me.
And to your point also, he's opened this in a prominent area that's blocks away from the school that LTW and Charlotte's kids go to. And I was thinking as you were speaking, I was like, well, why didn't he open this in more like a gay district? But just as well as I know that gay men certainly ain't going to go get loaves of bread and croissants.
No, do hot fellas matcha?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're right, it's a
hot
branding
fellas
thing.
iced coffee or something.
Yeah,
Bread,
yeah. And then
and I love bread.
you could
I
also still
love
serve
bread.
the bread there, but if he shifted the focus
Exactly.
and made it about beverages or hot fellas paninis, sandwich,
You know.
something different,
Yeah.
because I also don't see the room moms connected. Like the uniforms are very queer forward. So I
Mhm.
also don't see like 40-year-old moms being like, oh, I have to get in there to get
No.
my loaf of bread.
No, it's very like PDR stripper type. Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy those bread handles though, to get into the to get into the bakery. So then, but yeah, like I said, Anthony's fussing about this. Carrie extends an invitation to the girls for them to join her in Virginia, but no one wants to. They either can't or they don't want to. But Miranda offers to cat sit. And, like no one's interested in going to Williamsburg, Virginia. Like Seema says, I don't even go to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, bitch. Like I'm not going
Which I
to
mean,
Williamsburg,
fair.
Virginia.
Fair.
So then, wait, do you want to take a break here?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's break here.
Okay.
All right, and we're back.
We are back. Carrie then gets a call from Kathy, Aidan's wife. Now, I was dying. I could not wait to do our show today because I had to talk to you specifically about this.
Okay.
So she gets the call. And
Yes.
before we get to the reason why Kathy is calling, can we talk about how Seema clocked Carrie for having Kathy in her phone as Aidan's wife? Language matters.
That was weird.
Language matters.
It does matter. It does.
There's no way I'm dating a man and, for whatever reason, if I have to be in communication or have his ex's number, that they're going to be listed in that way that does not involve past tense. It's kind of
Well,
weird, Carrie.
well, it's interesting because later in the episode, Carrie makes a comment, and I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yeah.
Where she says that she's the fourth person in his life, and I was like, well, who are the other? Then I thought back to the wife. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she
Well,
kind of clocked her own tea with that.
she did. She did.
She said the quiet part out loud with that.
But yeah, for it to still
Nevertheless, so Kathy, Aidan's wife, calls, and it's interesting that she saved her number in that way. And also, I should mention, what do you all think about this? Speakpipe.com/we're just like that. What do you think about this? So this lady calls Carrie because she wants Carrie to bring Adderall with her. She knows Carrie's coming down, and she wants her to bring Adderall. She says it's for Wyatt. And in my notes in real time, I just have 2 dashes and I said weird request.
It was weird. It was weird.
Like, we don't even get down like that, and you're asking me to smuggle drugs across state lines.
And why wouldn't Aidan call if it were that much of a necessity for
Exactly. She has not had any communication. I mean, we're as viewers, we're led to believe that she, based on how she looked at her phone when this call was coming through, she of course assumed something had happened or something was wrong. She hasn't had any communication with this woman.
No,
and now she's calling her personally to request
drugs
stuff for Wyatt because she can't find it anywhere. And I guess there's a nationwide. Where did Denver go?
It just quit on me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just paused. I said, where did Denver go?
That was so weird. It just blanked. All right. And keep going.
We were just saying just how much of a strange request. And of course, bear with us. This is our first time doing this, and we're not together in person. It's easier if we're together in person.
Much easier.
But whatever. It's a weird request, and there's a national shortage. And so she said, I was just thinking.
It looked frozen to me.
I cannot see you. I can hear you though, but your box is still there. Okay. It's like on FaceTime when you turn off your camera.
Okay. Well, at least I'm still present.
Now I can see you.
Wait, hold on. I know that's a shitty camera. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Cool. All right, continue.
So then this lady, Kathy, the ex-wife, tells Carrie, I was just thinking, you're in New York and you're well connected. And Carrie's like, yeah, bitch, to restaurants and sample sales, unless Prada makes Adderall.
What the fuck is going on?
I can still hear you. I can't see you.
I know. I'm so perturbed. But you know what? That's okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry, viewers. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in or I'm going to let it go.
I wish I could do a song and dance.
No, I might just keep it in. Hold on, give me like 15 seconds. Because that is why we have multiple cameras. All right.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
And looking good.
Thanks. All right.
So do you want me to pick up or we're going to keep going?
Oh, we'll just keep rolling.
Keep going. Okay.
Yeah,
so Carrie's like, yeah, bitch, to restaurants and sample sales unless Prada makes Adderall. Like that. It's just such a strange request. I'm not like a pusher. Yeah. Shout out to Katie Heron. Like I'm not a pusher just because I live in a major city and you're in small town Virginia. Yeah. Just strange.
It was strange. The whole thing was strange. I would not have even entertained it.
No shade. I don't think I would have either.
And furthermore, I would have gone off the phone and called Aidan and been like, so what is this about?
Good point. Good point.
What are we doing here?
Good point. Fantastic point. I didn't even think about that.
You're not going to say like we're in like minimal contact, but then your wife can just call me out of the blue and be like, get some drugs for my kid. You need to do some housekeeping.
Fantastic point. Fantastic. So then Carrie goes back into the restaurant, the bakery, and she tells the girls, and apparently it is true that there's a shortage of this Adderall, and LTW and Charlotte both weigh in on what it's like. Like people are losing their minds to get access to these, supplements, these drugs, these ADHD meds rather for their kids. Like people are losing their minds, about getting it. And so Charlotte, aka Griselda, okay, she goes over there and settles it. Okay. A real pusher, the multi-talented Charlotte.
And I kind of live for it, actually.
Me too.
I really do.
Which is so funny when I watched this scene, because I watched it, of course, I watched it last night and watched it again early this morning. But I went to a comedy show. ABFF has a comedy show every year spotlighting and showcasing comics. And one of the comedians made a joke about, it was about like what's going on in politics and deportations and drug dealers. He said, the real drug dealers are 23-year-old white women. They got access to everything. And so when he made that joke, and then last night, when I was watching this and I was like, look at this, not 23-year-old white woman, but this white woman nonetheless. No one would think that, these types of conversations, granted, it's Adderall. But if these conversations can happen about Adderall, they can happen about any substance. Just happening down at the Hot Fellas Bakery. And just like that, Charlotte didn't even have to put up a fight, and she instantly had access.
No.
And so I thought that was funny.
The girl was in the room.
Yes.
She didn't have to send a text. She didn't have to.
Nope.
The girl was in the room.
In the room. She got up and walked over there.
Comfortable enough to walk over there and make the demand.
Yeah. And so I love that Carrie, like once it got all settled, Carrie was like, art expert, momfluencer, drug kingpin. What can't she do? Classic Carrie writing there. That's just a classic Carrie line. I love that.
It is.
So now we get LTW. Okay. Now we get LTW. She's back at work, and her editor, Grace, reveals that she got a job offer from Steve McQueen, and she's going to take the job.
As she should.
Leaving LTW, as she should. We're going to talk about this, but she's leaving LTW in a pinch halfway through her documentary project. And LTW does not take it well. She doesn't react well. And she mentions, as they're talking this out, she mentions that they've been working on this project for 8 years, and Grace shoots back and says, but it was supposed to be 1. And so it took longer to get done because of the sacrifices that LTW has made for her family. I want to put a pin in that, because this is a never-ending conversation. I've been talking about this for the past season 2. I've been seeing trouble on the horizon. I love Herbert. I love LTW. I love the Black family unit. But there is that woman. To me, this marriage is a reflection of so many, where it's the woman making all the sacrifices. This man can go off and be comptroller and running around and do wop, shoo wop down at the Red Rooster and all this stuff. And she is their sacrifices. She's a successful woman who's making formidable strides in her career, but at what cost?
Right.
So I noted that, but I wanted to talk to you. Let's talk about this.
Let's get into it.
What? Because we both agree that Grace should take this job.
Yeah.
But also, I think that LTW is entitled to her feelings. Like, it's kind of fucked up.
I mean, yeah. Again, I'm trying to jump ahead because I think everything I want to say
comes later.
It gets said. Yeah.
Okay.
But I do understand her frustration, and I think a lot of it was just the initial shock,
Yeah.
And I think that, to your point, she deserves to feel that way. I do think it was a little harsh, but if I were girl, Grace, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, and no shade, she just don't have to feel away. Because this is Steve McQueen. I'm sure the coin is sickening.
But even in the care that she took in being like, hey, I'm doing this, here's a list of suitable replacements. Like, she went ahead and did some of the legwork for her, which I think was very thoughtful. And I think that speaks to, the person Grace is. And if you trust Grace and you trust her decision making, then trust that she's making the right decision for herself this time. And
it shows that Grace really likes and respects her, because she could have just left. She could have just said, my last day's Friday. It shows that there's a degree of likability and respect there for LTW. So, absolutely. And you're right. It was the initial shock, and maybe LTW didn't, and it happens. We're human. She didn't zoom out and look at the bigger picture because she's caught off guard. She's coming off of a high with being with the girls. She got fresh croissants from the bakery. She's coming off that high and then being met with, and we should also mention that Grace primed her like, well, I'll take a croissant because it's celebratory over here. So she's expecting like,
and it was for her. Like it was.
What did you think? I thought that she was going to say that we got Michelle Obama. That's what I thought that Grace was going to tell her.
I thought Grace was going to tell her that the project has been dropped or they lost funding or something.
Well, Denver, what reason would that be to celebrate?
I don't know. I don't think I was really paying attention during that initial part. I was taking notes. So I think I was writing and I missed the whole croissant thing. And so when she said I have some news, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
So that was my bad.
Our next scene, we get Charlotte. This is a quick one. There's 2 back-to-back like jump scenes. Charlotte is at work with coffee, talking to her younger coworkers, and they had a long night last night. Okay. They were out selling art. Charlotte is kind of gagged. She ended her night at 9 p.m. She's kind of gagged because she's like, you know, they earn commission.
Yeah.
And it's showing that this younger generation, they do things a little bit differently than when Charlotte first entered the conversation and entered the job field of being an art curator and selling this art. So they're going above and beyond. They're going past office hours.
Baby, it's beyond.
It's beyond.
It's
but
beyond.
they're also, you know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They get to dip and do it, as Wendy would say, and also earn commission because they're able to sell the art.
I mean, that's
so
sales.
they're multitasking.
I mean, that's most sales positions. No shade.
Yeah.
I mean, like real estate functions that way.
There's lots of dinners
and after things and other things, and
we're gonna get to that because I had some relatability. I know you said there were some comparisons between Charlotte and I last season, and I'm like, wow, I feel kind of seen by my chaotic sister in this episode. But so then we get that. Then our next scene, Carrie and Miranda are building a kitty condo for Shu, and Carrie gave Miranda. Oh, also, I love that Miranda was like, don't you think this is a bit much? And Carrie's like, baby, this is my only child. I didn't say nothing about when you was getting Brady all of them motherfucking Hot Wheels and Legos and all of that.
Well, here's what pissed me off.
Okay.
I know Carrie has enough money for white glove delivery and assembly. Why is she putting this together?
Because the way I see it is, even though sometimes you have access to that convenience, sometimes maybe as the kids say, it scratches her brain to be able to put something together. Maybe she needs a distraction from writing about the 1840s and thinking about this crumbling relationship with Aidan. I don't know. I would have
gone on and picked like a hot task rabbit to just come in and do it for me.
In fairness, Denver, it didn't look like they were struggling. Like they were just, it would have been different if they were doing this and couldn't find the monkey wrench and didn't know what a nut and a bolt was. But they were just,
True. I mean, that's Miranda.
Wow. That's layered. That's layered. That's really layered. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But in this conversation, Carrie gives Miranda a key to her place. And she said that she gave Adam a key. This is Gardner Adam, a key, so he can have access to the garden. And when she gave Adam the key, she realized that Aidan doesn't even have a key. Now, I said, okay, here we go. Is that ominous writing again?
He's not even there.
He's only, and we learned in this conversation that he's only been there twice. And I thought to myself, if Aidan didn't have a key, how the hell did he surprise Carrie last episode? How did he get in?
That kitchen door. That damn sensor.
Because I was also wondering, I said, where was the alarm that time? Anytime a door opened, as someone who grew up with alarms, anytime a window or a door opened, ding, 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 fault, front door. Like,
and now they come to your phone. So I don't even know.
Oh, please. I'm so glad. My mom is still an alarm diva. And when I tell you her favorite channel is surveilling her home, I don't know. Her and my aunts, they love. I'm like, why are you? She's like, I'm just looking at the mail be delivered and see what, you can see what the neighbors are doing.
Oh, I mean, I do watch mine quite a bit.
If my
neighbors are kind of strange.
Well, yes, they are. When you lived on that other floor.
Yeah. Well, this one's also.
There was that incident that took place, and I didn't know if I was going to get bullets or biscuits, as Sheree said.
There's been
and you're in a nice building, a premier building.
I know.
But I say that to say the joke I was making was, I was thinking about, like, I would not have survived. Like, I was out here living in the fast lane as a teen, and I would not have survived with camera surveillance. It was hard enough having that damn alarm say ding, ding, and, trying to turn it off and sneak and do it. Those buttons are so noisy, you can't mute them.
Let alone like the tracking and the apps and the location sharing. And
God.
No.
Yeah, I would have been cooked. But nonetheless, so she, like I said, she gave Miranda this key, and Aidan doesn't even have a key. So when she goes to lunch with him, when Carrie goes to lunch with him, her plan is to give him a key to our house. Okay, Carrie, sister is still Delulu. She's still Delulu. In this conversation, Miranda reveals that she asked Joy, the BBC producer, out, but not on an official date, just for happy hour under the guise of wanting some on-camera coaching tips. Excuse me. I look at that as a date.
I mean, Carrie clocked it. She said, "Do you really have to play these games?"
And then Miranda clocked her.
She did. But I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, Miranda, girl, just ask her out if you want to ask her out.
Well, Denver, you may disagree, which I'm sure you will. Last episode, I said I totally agreed with Miranda. I am not someone who necessarily believes in romance in the workplace. I saw Carrie's argument because, yes, people meet at work all the time. I know couples that are engaged and are married and met at work. And I'm not cutting myself off to that. I just don't think I would initiate it. And like Miranda said last episode, if something were to go left, she can't just not go to the guacamole restaurant like what happened with the waitress. Like, you have to, there are people in my industry that I have had dealings with, and I'm like, we don't even work together, but we do some of the same things.
That's what I was thinking about. Like, Miranda, like this is a BBC girl, right?
Yeah.
And Miranda's not. So do they really like work together? It's not like Miranda's going to the office and seeing her every day.
True, because she's from across the pond. But it's like, still, we don't know like their email correspondence. We don't know how much influence this woman has in Miranda's organization or with Miranda's position. That's the only thing. Like, I'm so like, in the name of TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, can get a little.
I guess.
So you're pro dating in the workplace?
I mean, I work with my man, so I mean, it's different.
That's different because you all didn't meet at work. You all didn't meet at work.
That's true.
You all had a relationship and then incorporated work into that. I'm talking about when you had a 9-to-5, when you were working.
Oh no.
Were you pro this?
No, not if you have to go to the same building every day. Like, I don't even believe in hooking up in your building. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, me either.
Like, I don't believe in that either.
No. Like, oh my gosh, I got stories.
I don't. No awkward elevators. We don't. No.
I would actually date someone, be more open to dating someone that I worked with before I would be open to dating someone that lives in my building.
Oh, same.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, they, them. No. But yeah, so Miranda clocked her. We just mentioned Carrie clocked Miranda with the games, and Miranda clocked right back. I don't even think Miranda missed a beat, snatching Carrie's edges with that. And so that's when we learned that Aidan's already been to the house twice. Carrie reminds Miranda that the Gramercy house is Aidan's as well as it's hers, but Miranda ain't trying to hear that. But Carrie also was like, can we not read me? Like, I know that I kind of threw a dart at you, but can we not read me? Like, I'm going through enough, sister. Then we get the next scene, which is Charlotte crashing out with her family about not having a quote unquote life. She's deemed herself as a boring mom who can't wait to get back home to her family. That's how she feels her younger colleagues look at her. Harry is also dealing with some of the same stuff. Giuseppe's there. I should mention that the family's preparing dinner. They're sitting down to eat. Giuseppe and Anthony are there. And Giuseppe suggests that Charlotte go out with her younger colleagues and join them. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. Harry mentions he wants to go out too, but he needs some club clothes. Charlotte then asks to dress him, and everybody's like, girl. And so LTW's name is brought up as like a styling consultant. I guess she wasn't available. Smart. Then Carrie's name is brought up. I think Giuseppe call Carrie.
Yeah.
Also in this conversation, we get Anthony showing some frustration towards Giuseppe because he feels like Giuseppe's not supporting the bakery. Giuseppe's not supporting his efforts. But I'm like, Anthony, you also fired in the name of workplace romances.
Hello.
You fired Giuseppe.
Wake it up.
You fired him because you said you ain't mixing. And also that's a weird power dynamic because Anthony is the boss, Giuseppe's the employee. That can get a little,
And Giuseppe just doesn't want to do it. He was like, I don't want to
Giuseppe's a poet
for bread.
Yeah.
You know, although
he know what he got. He know what he working with, and he wants to. He
said, I deserve equity for what I got.
Yes, no shade, no shade. I'm in this for the long run, and I love that Rock was like encouraging G. I think that's what they call Giuseppe. Yes. G, right on G. We get the next scene. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think what kind of got me during the scene was that Charlotte was complaining, about being a wife and a mom, as if she didn't do that to herself. Like, she put
Literally,
herself in that box.
literally her entire existence, all 6 seasons of Sex and the City. Sister was working overtime to be a wife and a mother. But it's
That's what
showing
she
how
wanted to
life
do.
is. You dedicate your life to something, and one day you look up in your 50s and you're like, this isn't fair.
Life ain't fair.
Please don't remind me. Do we want to take a break here?
Yeah, let's take a break here. Let's do it.
We are back, and now we're with Seema, and she's meeting up with her boss, Elliot. He announces that he's retiring. It's also fascinating that Elliot, this is the same person that hooked her up with Sydney last episode, but Elliot is 90. Seema gagged.
Gagged me. Gagged me too.
But he said a gay 90 is a straight 70.
Truth.
Which I will agree with. I think it's a gay men, especially gay men that I know in LA, take good care of themselves in comparison to their straight counterparts.
I mean, I think that's kind of like a nationwide thing, actually.
Yeah, like it's just, there's moisturizers involved and sunscreen
and fillers and laser and Botox and everything,
and good nail beds.
Yeah,
I mean all of that as well. But I'm speaking just as surface,
just general. Yeah.
They're a little bit more active as well. A little bit more gym body conscious, if you will. They kind of have to be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Straight men don't have to work that hard.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I think the underlying thing is like men are kind of dicks across the board. And they're super judgmental. So the same way men judge women ridiculously, they judge men that way too. So, we kind of know what we pick apart, and so we fix it on ourselves.
It's also an impossible beauty standard.
Oh, for sure.
But it's also, same thing happens on the woman, on the side with the women. It's impossible beauty standards we're all invested in. Well, most of us, not everybody. I know women that have totally divested from the circus of it all. But if you're like me and you're front facing on camera and you can fight the power, but there's also still certain check marks that you gotta cross. Otherwise, you will never see a camera unless it's your own. And I gotta pay the rent. Okay.
Right. Now the lesbians, they don't give a damn.
No, they don't.
They don't give
Some
a
of them
damn.
do. Some of them do. Which is so funny. Shout out to Mel Mitchell. I don't know if you're familiar with Mel Mitchell. She's a comedian. She does a lot of the Harry Potter skits, like the Black Mama at Hogwarts.
Love her.
Yes, she's amazing. Yes, Baddest Mitch. So I
yes.
met her here and we really connected. She's so sweet. And she was one of the comedians last night at the comedy show. And she told this joke about, because she's now engaged, and she was talking about open marriages and how that's like a big thing. And she told her husband, her fiance, that we're not going to be doing all of that. And if we do, I'm going to pick the girl and you're not going to like it. And the running joke that she said is that she would bring one of them WNBA players up in there. She said, I'm bringing Brittany Griner. But it's her delivery. It was such a good joke. It was such a good joke. And the way it landed, I mean, everybody was cracking up.
I just feel like
because they don't be thinking about that.
That's
like, I'm about to bring somebody from the basketball court up in that bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up because I feel like what I'm gonna say is get me in trouble. But that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Tell me offline. Yes, Elliot reveals that he is selling his shares in the company that he and Seema have to Ryan Serhant.
Serhant.
It doesn't matter this person's name because it's not Seema, which pissed me off. And Ryan will be taking over and becoming the primary controlling partner of the firm. And I have in my notes, why didn't he consult Seema beforehand? Seema is mortified, by the way, and she decides to take some time off work. Now let's talk about the blatant disrespect that Seema's encountering at work right now.
This triggered me a little bit deeper. I definitely feel Seema in that it's tough when you do something for so long and you think you're, second in line to inherit this thing that you've been kind of like devoting your entire life to. And then for whatever reason, like whether it's, a merger or, the business changes or, plans change, what you thought you were getting at the end of the road just isn't there. Not only is it not there, it's just not there for you.
It's not right. It's not there for you.
And that can be very, very emotionally jarring.
Yeah.
Especially because, it's your life and, you spent time just not dream, but yeah, dreaming and kind of fantasizing, and like one day, I'm gonna
About
run
your
this, and
plans
I'm
and
gonna have this, and because it's what you do it for. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it
And so
is.
to kind of have that kind of taken from you is, ugh,
And
you
Seema
know.
works so hard. She's dedicated her life. Like she's single, she
Hmm.
is childless, and she seems to enjoy her work. It's not like she's
Hmm.
dragging her feet.
No, she's
And
good at it.
it just what a devastating thing to have to go through. I felt bad for her because it was, again, blatant disrespect. How are you going to have meetings with me about my personal life,
Hmm.
and then so we good enough to talk about that, where we're having side meetings and you're hooking me up with relationship consultants, but we're not good enough to pull me to the side to at least give me a heads up to these abrupt changes that are happening.
And the thing is, the changes aren't abrupt, because for that to happen, there had to have been meetings, on board clearances, on meetings.
Yep.
So you've had nothing but time and opportunity to tell me
Availability.
what was going to happen, and now you're going to come and tell me
Yeah.
what's happening, or what happened. Like,
Yeah.
don't even
That
start.
adds insult to injury. So I really
Yeah,
felt for her. But she has a million sick days and she's going to take some time off. Then
good
we
girl.
get Harry and Carrie. Shout out to Chicago baseball legend Harry Carey. You
Oh
know
my
the
God.
guy, take me out to the Vogue. Shout out to the
I'm going
Chicago
to a baseball
Cubs.
game tonight, by the way, for Pride Night at the Dodgers. My first baseball game
Oh,
in
you're
like
going
10
to a
years.
baseball night?
It's Pride Night at the Dodgers. First,
Ugh,
my first baseball game in like a decade.
good luck with that parking.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I'm not driving, so.
Well, it'll be fun. I'm sure. I've never been to a Dodgers game. I've been to, I think, every Chicago team. I've been to games with the exception of the Chicago Blackhawks, which is the hockey team.
Mhm.
But I've been to the Bears, the Bulls, the Sox, and the Cubs. I'm a South Sider,
Who
so I'm
knew?
team
Who knew that
Sox.
you? Who knew? I had no idea that you would have gone to
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. In the 90s, I saw Jordan play.
Oh, in the '90s, girl. That don't
Mhm.
count. I
Well,
mean,
no, I'm
as a
saying, well, no, in fairness, yeah, I have not gone. Have I gone to a sporting event as an adult? No.
no,
No.
no
Oh, no,
Lakers,
I did.
Clippers.
My cousins, I had a cousin who was doing an internship with the Lakers 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And I went with him to a Lakers game. So that was my first sporting event, probably since I was a kid, like
Okay.
professional sporting event
Mm.
since I was a kid, other than, like college games and stuff.
Yeah,
And so it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, wow, I see that, how big of a man LeBron is. Like he's big and not like green bean, like skinny
Mm.
big. Like he is tall and
Massive.
brawny.
Yeah.
No pun intended. He's brawny. But so yeah, um, have fun with that tonight.
Thank you.
Harry and Carrie are shopping, and he is struggling in this fitting room. I don't see why he just didn't go a size up. But then we
Um,
get Seema calling Carrie, and she's basically letting her know that she's agreeing to go to Virginia, which is, I think this is a callback to previous seasons, because weren't they supposed to go vacation together in the Hamptons, Seema
well,
and
they went
Carrie?
to Greece at the end, didn't they?
They what?
Didn't they go to Greece in the end?
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot
Yeah.
about that because you were
Yes,
in
I was
Greece at the
actually in
same
Greece.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Because I remember Seema's hair being wet and they got into that argument outside of the salon.
Mhm.
Remember she was
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette and had an umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
And I
she's
was
agreeing to travel.
in my notes, I have a do you know how pissed you have to be to go to Virginia? Like you have
Williamsburg,
like you
Virginia.
have to be pissed.
Sometimes, you need a change of scenery. You need a change of scenery. You don't care where you're
Well,
going.
where's the scenery? Is there scenery in Virginia?
Well, they were renting a car for that scenic Virginian drive. I just got lipstick on my microphone.
Oh, we can't tell.
That happens. It's okay. I'm going to touch up before I have a panel. Full disclosure, I'm hosting a panel in like 2 hours, and I need to prepare for that. So we're getting it in early for you
We'll be
all.
done. We are. I have my Lonnie. I'm powering through, baby.
Same. So Seema meets Adam, and she's picking up Carrie so they can head to the airport, and that's when she meets Adam, aka New York's Plant Picasso, voted by the readers of Vogue. And I liked this banter between them.
Me
I
too.
liked this banter.
Me
It's
too.
important that your friends like your potentials, and I'm speaking that into existence.
I agree. And it's so funny how I guess oblivious Carrie was to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Because
because
he's like,
she trying to put Seema onto Adam.
dumbass. Like he's right there. He's in your house. Like it's so
Well,
easy.
she's still fiercely committed to Aidan, which is so
And that's your
crazy because if the shoe
problem.
were on the other foot, I could see Aidan sniggling and giggling in some woman's face
Absolutely.
while Carrie is
I'm
you know what I'm
just being
saying?
nice. Absolutely.
So, what I noted again with the easy breezy theme, Carrie emerges and she doesn't have her signature trunk. She's just got a few bags. She said she had a few outfits, her laptop, her purse, and some lip gloss. Easy breezy.
Easy.
Traveling lightly. Carrie go lightly.
Changing for a man.
Now, what I gagged at, and we may have to spend a beat talking about this. I don't know if you have this in your notes. When Carrie goes to the car, she turns to Adam and she says, "Don't lose my shoe."
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "Oh, don't worry. I've never met a kitty I can bend to my will."
Yep. Caught it. Got it. And her, nothing. Like nothing.
I said, "Now hold on." I sat up. When he said that, I said, "Now hold on now."
I mean, Seema did too. You know, she
now
heard
hold on now.
it.
I
Yeah.
ain't never met a kitty I can bend to my will.
That's a new one. Smooth. Very
Which
smooth.
also, when I zoom out, I look at how kind of careless Aidan was with the thought of shoe escaping and how careful Adam is with making sure, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Interesting point. Yeah.
I just thought about that. Anyway, Carrie and Seema are on the plane. Seema needs a tequila soda stat. I think that was her order. And the gay flight attendant was like, "Honey, when we reach a certain altitude, I will give you your drink. But someone is currently vomiting, and that takes precedence," which I agree. No one wants to be on a smelly plane.
No, but also, were they not in first class?
No, they were not. They were not in first class.
That feels weird. Number one, because definitely in
Yeah.
first class, they'll get you a drink as soon as you sit down. Whatever you want.
No, they were. I noticed with their seating, they were not in first class. Which also, to your point, I could see Carrie doing other parts of the plane than first class, but I cannot envision Seema. I imagine Seema doing first class or nothing at all.
Hello.
So that is
That was
interesting.
Weird. That was weird to me.
That is interesting. You know, I've never flown first class ever.
That surprises me. You give me a first class girl.
I've heard of the perks. I've been very close to first class. I almost thought about buying a first class ticket to New York one time, and I could not reason with spending that amount of money on a one-way plane ticket. But I have to experience it soon. I would like to experience. I feel like I owe that to myself.
You do. I don't think I've ever purchased first class. But I think just like upgrades and points and stuff, like we've gotten it from time to time. It's not like you know, I'm good in a comfort plus situation. Like
that's typically where I'm at. I'm typically like row 11. You know, I'm like right behind them. I'm never like row 37 or whatever. I can't be back there.
No,
I'm around row 11. A little bit more room, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the price points are outrageous.
They really are. And no company, when I've been flown out for work, for example, like I was flown here for work, I was in the comfort.
Yeah.
No one's ever like, "Here's a first class ticket." Not yet, at least.
Yeah, they will.
But I've never done that. I've never sat in first class.
Yeah. I mean, not all first class is created equal either. Like sometimes it's cute.
Really?
You know, yeah. Sometimes it's like the bare minimum. Like
really.
sometimes it's it. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. We're gonna have to
like
talk about this.
Yeah.
Older planes and different airlines and
the length of the flight changes things, and it's just you know. Do not let TikTok fool you into thinking that you need to be first class every time, because you really don't.
Oh no! I know a lot of that is stunning in front.
Oh no,
like I don't buy into that. Yeah. And at this point, people can draft up an AI video like they're in first class, and they're not. So but yeah, so they're not in first class. Seema doesn't get her drink, and she makes a note. This is the second gay man that has disappointed her within like 72 hours. Elliot being the first.
Yeah.
So she's like, "What is it with these gay men? I'm not getting what I want. Why is it that gay men never do for me what they say they're going to do for me?" I know that's right, Seema.
Fair point. But also, I don't really see the straight ones doing it for her either.
No. But I think she looks at the gay ones as a very particular like ally, a very kindred.
That's her problem. Stop tokenizing.
Kindred sibling.
Stop tokenizing the gays.
No shade.
That's your problem.
No shade. Get it together, Denver. Get it together.
I'm getting it together. She needs to get it together.
So the next scene, I almost pulled my hair out. We see LTW. She is stressed. She's frustrated, and she's taking it out on the mashed potatoes. She's making dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Harry, I have in my notes because I was mad. I said, wait, no, not Harry.
Herbert.
God, that's Charlotte. Herbert. In my notes, I said, Herbert is useless because he made me so angry during this scene. He made me so angry. Yes.
Okay, you got to tell me why, because I'm like, it made sense to me.
So he made me angry because while I can always appreciate in times of conflict, I can always appreciate another viewpoint being introduced or maybe a perspective that I haven't entertained. But I was not looking at him as the most supportive. And I think because in my mind, he has directly benefited off of the sacrifices that LTW has made, both in her personal life and her career. And he cannot relate to the level of sacrifices that she's made in this marriage. And so to then kind of like dismiss her feelings and where is it at in my notes? He basically asks her to like look at Grace's perspective. Like the give grace to Grace. And I think in this scene, what I gathered is she just wants to vent and she wants her husband to support her in her frustration. She doesn't hate Grace. She's pissed because this project, which was supposed to be done in a year, is now going on year 9. And he's sitting up there moseying. He's not helping with dinner. He just moseying and he chilling. He coming from the back room, probably just finished watching the game. He grabbing some cold to drink from the refrigerator. And I just think the optics of it. And like I said, I know I'm projecting. These are TV characters. We're here to predict. But that is what he pissed me off in that scene because I felt like he was not supporting her and he was not listening to her frustrations. He was not holding space for her.
See, I disagree. I think that there's nothing he could have said that could have changed how she felt. And she was
I hear you.
She was already spiraling. And I think he did.
I hear you. I see you. And what you have to say means something to me.
Sometimes people want people to spiral with them. And he's not that person. So I think he did what he did. He got not one glass for the wine. He got 2. He just opened it up, poured 2. It was like, here, calm down. Like just chill out.
Okay.
I feel like he helped in the way that
he knew how to.
And I think that sometimes when you are kind of spinning out of control, sometimes you just need a quick grounding moment. And I think that he gave that to her. Now she may have preferred, somebody to vent and fuck her, and I can't believe she did that, and but he's not that.
my man.
And I think that she knows that, and if she wanted that, maybe she could have called homegirl for that. But I think everybody kind of has their role.
Let us know what you all think about this.
Yeah. I would love to know how people see this.
Yeah, because we have very differing viewpoints on that scene. Because I think I'm already irritated with him, so it might be me dragging more. Because I just look at LTW as making the ultimate sacrifice, and I should note that I'm not taking away from any of the sacrifices that he's made. But when I think about his haughty ass mama visiting last season and how she disrespected LTW's father and LTW as a whole, she to accuse her of being part of the Lion King. Like I'm not seeing how LTW is benefiting from this marriage other than the cultural value that comes from being married and the lifestyle, right? It just seems like she just does it all. And as I said last season, it's like Herbert is an honorary 4th child for her. She's managing his calendar and schedule and getting his stuff together. Like, that's just how I look at their relationship. I don't think it's a necessary healthy one, and we might see her break down in coming seasons. Like she might hit a wall because how she's living is not sustainable long term. It's not.
Yeah, I agree. But then I also feel like the kids are getting older, so maybe that'll kind of free up some. I mean, I feel like
imagine when the kids start being rebellious and talking back and doing stuff, like she's going to need support and attentiveness.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's going to be off being comptroller.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see her and Charlotte both kind of have the mothers at work thing going on, and they're both kind of dealing with it in different ways. I see why they're friends.
So then we get Seema and Carrie, and they are at this restaurant. I should mention Seema is adamant about this fried chicken. She made me want some fried chicken.
Okay.
I'm like, where can I go in Miami? I just need 4 whole wings, fried heart with some fries. Every Black American neighborhood in every major city, you can get that. Someone's horn is going off. And so Seema is adamant about this fried chicken. Now, what I find funny is that this restaurant didn't look like a restaurant that the food was going to be good to begin with.
No, it looked like a hotel restaurant, like the
It
hotel. And I think most
and it
hotel
looked very
restaurant food
old
is kind of
fashioned.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. The food here isn't bad that I've had so far. What have I eaten? Oh, I had a Greek salad with lamb my first night here. And then this
Oh, that
morning I
sounds
had
good.
a salmon lox situation. It
Okay.
was good. It was a lot. It filled me up. It was good. Um, but yeah, this is where the point that you mentioned earlier with Seema saying, like, Seema's kind of venting about work and it doesn't feel good to be number two. And Carrie slips and says that she's number four in Aidan's life.
Mm.
She clocked herself when she said that. I said, oh,
And took a moment like, huh, yeah, I guess. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, sometimes you never know when it's gonna hit you.
you never know.
You
And
never
we'll see
know.
that later on this episode because Seema also mentions in this conversation that she's considering stepping out on her own and starting the Patel group, which I think she totally should. She's established enough.
Yeah.
But by this point, like she has enough cultural currency to do that in New York. Like she's
Yeah.
out here. She should totally do that. Then we get the PR for the conference that Carrie spoke at, and the restaurant owner or manager rather. His name is Mike.
Like,
He
girl, why?
approaches the
You're
ladies.
like you're wasting my time.
He approaches them. Mike was a lot. He was a
Mike was a
handful.
lot. And we didn't need the interaction, honestly. I mean, I feel like with this show, what I'm realizing is we have a very certain amount of time to get the story told. And
Uh-huh.
these, like, whether it's Charlotte and the dog or like this little running with the guy, like you're wasting minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I still
Like this
thought
thing, like
it
this
was
thing didn't need, like, we didn't need levity here. We just didn't
we
need it.
didn't.
We
We
didn't.
didn't. He complimented Carrie's shoes though, which of course she loved. And I screamed during this scene because I'm not a picky eater, as you know.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to try new things. Which, by the way, we need to set a Kazunori date. I want to go back with
Do.
you to Kazunori.
Yes.
I could deal with a hand roll this summer or three.
Yes. Or
Like that was
four.
really good.
Yes.
Nevertheless, Seema wants this fried chicken, and she said, "I want Mama's. Is Mama's fried chicken as good as it sounds?" And he said, "That's an old menu." Turns out Mama went heart healthy, and now the chicken is air fried with little to no oil, served with an okra mousse, and topped with a succotash foam. And in caps in my notes, I have gross.
I mean, I was down with the air fried chicken. Now, an okra mousse just sounds disgusting.
Absolutely gross. And I love okra. I love it fried. I love okra in any form. Okra is one of my favorite
Even the
vegetables,
mousse.
but okra mousse, no, any vegetable. In fairness, any vegetable as
I
a
mean,
mousse.
unless, hear me out. If the okra mousse was like smeared on the plate all decoratively, and the foam was like a little poof, and the chicken was sitting right on top, so it's not really there for taste. You're not really there to eat it. You're just kind of there for taste. That's what I mean. No.
Succotash has too many ingredients in it for it to be a foam, for it to be converted into a foam. It just does. Succotash got too many textures, too many ingredients to be converted into a foam. That sounds disgusting.
To a degree, speaking of, I mean, it reminded me of. Have you seen this like air not air fried, air puffed trend? They have like air puffed Jolly Ranchers, air puffed Skittles.
Oh, you know what's so funny?
No, not air puffed, freeze dried. They're like,
okay, yes, freeze dried. I've seen, but they do make air puffed stuff. When I was in New Orleans for my cousin's wedding, we went to Rouse's Market, which is their like grocery store down there, and they had like air puffed Skittles. Yes. It was like locally made, like, and I was like, nothing about like air puffed peach rings, but nothing about that sounded appetizing to me.
No, I did have an air puffed Pringle the other day. It was a cheddar and sour cream. It was okay.
Well, see, in fairness, something air puffed and on the savory side, I'd be more willing to try than something air puffed and on the sweet side.
Yeah, I like the Jolly Ranchers, the freeze dried puffy Jolly Ranchers. They were
really good. Yeah, I'm just not. It didn't sound like this restaurant would have good food though.
Yeah, true, or good management. But
Seema then says, or Carrie says, "Why can no gay man ever give you what you're expecting?" Like that's a theme in this episode. Easy breezy and gay men dropping the ball when it comes to Seema.
Drag us. As a gay man who is quite easy breezy, drag me.
You are pretty easy breezy, but no, you're also high maintenance. I consider you still high maintenance.
I mean,
well, that's based on when I first met you. I viewed you as so high maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I am to a degree.
Know you. Yeah.
It's just place and time. Like place and time. Like there's a
Denver had me
time.
at a damn cycling class with Nicole Kidman's trainer, just to give you all a snapshot back in
Oh,
the
we're
day.
friends. We're friends.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. And I talked to the trainer. I talked to her yesterday. I talk to her all the time.
And I almost died because it was like that was my first time cycling, and that was like an advanced class.
Yeah, but it was
So
fun
you
though.
tried to kill me. Let's
I
talk
didn't try
about
to kill
that.
you.
These
I
gays
just
are trying to kill me.
I
Shout
wanted
out
to
to
just
White
I wanted to
Lotus.
have some fun.
Almost died. That was my one and only time cycling. I was like, this bitch didn't
Oh, we
lost
gotta
his
get you back.
mind.
We gotta get you back.
No, 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 no. I like Pilates on the machine.
Oh, I do love Pilates. I do love Pilates.
So then where are we at in my damn notes? Okay,
Miranda.
so we're at the next scene. Miranda's on her date with BBC Joy and getting tips on
It's so annoying.
broadcasting. They start doing breath work, hand to
Like
heart.
I'm annoyed actually with Miranda. And I thought that my annoyance came from the late, not so great Shay Diaz. But now that they're gone, I think it's Miranda who's frustrating me. Like, I get it, you got caught up with Shay, did the whole thing. But what is this like a rush to date? Like,
I
I don't
think
get it.
I think
Like
that
you
rush comes from if you really look at when I look at things, right?
mhm.
In our age group, people are rushing to date. And so to be a woman in your, what is this considered when you're in your 50s and your 60s? That's your second act. You're near the end of your second act in life. And Miranda has made this life for herself. She's also new to exploring her sexuality because she was with
Yeah.
Steve for so
I mean,
long.
and that I
And
get,
she
but I'm
keeps
like,
fiking out.
well, you probably
Everybody wants
should
somebody
strike
to spend
out.
some time with.
Well, I mean, it's not like she hasn't. I mean, she just got divorced. She finger banged Che in the kitchen. She
You're never gonna let
followed
that go,
her.
are you?
I'm not. I'm traumatized. She flew across the country, came back,
Yeah,
deflowered a nun. She's a recovering alcoholic. Like
yeah.
I think that
Which can we
she might need to
applaud
spend some
her?
time with herself.
Can we take a minute to applaud Miranda on her sobriety journey? She has not relapsed at all,
You
even though
know
she's
what?
had reason to.
I don't know, child. I feel like maybe if she was sitting there drinking instead of sitting there with a nun, she might be in a
My
better
God.
position.
My
Maybe
God.
maybe a little. Maybe she could use a little tequila to take the edge off.
Yeah, but do you understand?
I'm just kidding. By the way, to all of the sober listeners, I'm just kidding. I respect sobriety.
Yes, please clear that up, Denver, because
I
I'm not
respect
dealing
sobriety.
with none of that.
No, I'm just
Um, but do you see where I'm coming from with this quote unquote rush to dating? I think that she's earnest with it. I don't think that Miranda's just looking for someone for the sake of having someone. I think that she's really out there playing the field, and in order to date, you got to put yourself out there. It requires for you to, nurse your wounds, and it requires vulnerability. It requires risk. Love requires risk from everyone involved. So she's risking
yeah.
it.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, as I think about it, I think part of me is like, you just went through a divorce. Like, that's pretty traumatic. I feel like you should take some time to, grieve that and kind of deal with that alone. But then on the
Mm-hmm.
flip, if the relationship has been over for quite some time, there's a chance she was kind of grieving to herself before it actually
Right.
split. So maybe,
Because divorces don't happen overnight.
yeah,
There's a
yeah, yeah,
build up
yeah,
for
yeah.
that.
Okay, okay.
And in fairness,
I'm thinking through. I'm thinking through.
Carrie became a widow, and she wasted no time. I mean, she took some time off, but like she got back in the saddle pretty quickly. She was sleeping with her producer of her podcast. Remember, every Thursday
Yeah,
they
that's
was
true.
hooking up. So it's like,
Yeah, but I don't
people
feel
look.
like Carrie was like actively like going to bars and looking for people like Miranda
No,
seems
she
to be doing.
wasn't. She wasn't. She was just open to it. If it knocked, she answered.
Yeah, yeah. Miranda's like a
But
Jehovah's
also
Witness. She's going
Miranda's
around
new to her.
knocking on doors.
I imagine shout out to all of the people who come into the truth of who they know and understand themselves to be as they're more seasoned, because I can imagine that there might be a rush to catch up. We won't know what that's like. We don't
True,
know what that's like coming
true.
into our truths in our 50s.
That's true. That's true.
And you're on borrowed time. Like we all are on borrowed time, but it's like
I'm sure you feel it
that's
more in your
like
50s. Yeah.
yeah, you've lived over half your life by the time you've reached your 50s. Over half of your
True.
life is gone. So there might be a rush to play catch up and explore things that you might not have done in the past.
Okay, I guess I'll give her some grace.
We
I'm
didn't
still
get
ignoring
Charlotte and Harry. You be riding Miranda's ass, and that's my girl.
it. And I don't know
Charlotte.
why. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know. I don't know.
I actually think that Miranda, you would have a really good time with if Miranda were a real person and not a character. I think that you all would get along really, really well.
We probably would, except for she would get on my nerves, and then I feel like we'd have one of those friendships where it's like we would have to take some space every now and then. Like we can hang out, and then you do something that just annoys the shit out of me. I'm gonna step away, then I can come back, you know. Or
Yeah.
we'd be the friends who can go out and have a good time. But then when it comes time to talk about our personal stuff, I just got to sit there quiet.
We don't cross that. Yeah, those friends
Mhm.
are important as well. Those
Mhm.
friends are important. You can't sit down and
Mm-mm.
talk to everybody.
No.
Then we get Charlotte and Harry at the club. She's trying to make that sale, but they're both are out of their element. They are tired.
They're
Right?
tired.
If you don't club heavy, like I was out with a friend, well, with a group of my friends last weekend, and I didn't get home till almost 4 a.m. And I was dead dog and still had things to do because I had to prep for the BET Awards. I
Yeah.
was dead dog tired. I don't do stuff like that. I be home rubbing my feet together by like 1:32-ish. It was
See, that's
something, and I should mention we weren't at the club till 4 a.m. We did the club and then we went to Norm's and held court and ate good food, good diner food. And then,
and that'll make you
you go
sleepy.
home, you're still tipsy. Like it was a lot. I felt
Yeah.
like I was back in undergrad.
So I mean, as somebody who does that, I won't say like regularly, but you know me, I'm
Mhm.
either in the bed knocked out by 10:30, or I'm getting
Mhm.
home at 10:30 in the morning, and there's really no in between. Like, there's really
Mhm.
no in between.
Mhm.
My initial thought was, I hope they kept some of those Addies because that'll keep them awake. And that's where I thought it was going. I thought Harry was gonna pull a little bag out of his pocket, and I forgot he gave
Uh-huh.
him to Carrie, but I was hoping
Yeah.
they would, kind of explore that. Because I mean, I feel like we saw it later in the episode where they're in the bathroom and they're passing around, the tray of cocaine or whatever. Everybody was doing it because
My
that's
God.
honestly how people stay awake in the club until.
That is.
I'm not
That
saying
is.
me. I'm saying people. Um, but I also think there's a thing that happens where people will experiment with drugs kind of later in life too. So I was kind of
You think
hoping to
so?
see. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See,
I mean, I see
I'm
people.
someone when it comes to me, but I am a bit more conservative when it comes to things like that.
Mhm,
When it comes to me, I'm like, I'm 37. That part of my life is over. If I were to ever explore, I've
mhm,
never like all I've of course had marijuana
mhm,
and I've had alcohol. And when I go to the desert, I've had a mushroom
mhm. See,
once or twice,
I
literally once or twice. I've never tried a party drug. I've never done Molly, cocaine, none. I've also always
see.
been
I
in
didn't try
such
any of
fear of
those
it.
until my 30s. Like I dipped and dabbled as
Really?
a young child, not a young child, but young man. Weed, lean. Like I tried those when I was in
See, I
my
never
youth,
tried that. I've
but
always been so afraid. And I don't imagine myself as I get older. I don't imagine myself loosening up in that way. I've always been so afraid. And now, as a working journalist and someone who has literally been a sponge to so many different stories and
mhm,
articles, I'm like, there's no way I'm going. And I should also mention that I lost someone close to me a few years ago to an accidental fentanyl overdose.
mm,
So I'm like Tipper
yeah,
Gore over here.
yeah.
I'm
And I get
like,
that. I mean, and it's
I'm
all very
like,
valid. But what I'm noticing is that people are drinking less, and so they're turning to alternatives, and then people are just kind of like
mhm,
figuring out
porn
what
and
they, whether it's a
yeah.
shroom or whether it's what else?
I still
Whether it's
love my
a
cocktail.
Xanax or people are finding other ways to get through whatever.
I still love my cocktails. I
I do
don't see
too.
myself
I'm still
ever in a space where I'm not having a cocktail. I love a cocktail. I might have one today before my panel. I'm
yeah.
kidding. I'm
Well,
ever the professional. I'll have
I
a
mean, I like.
celebratory one when I'm done.
Well, I've learned recently that I do like shroom chocolates. I like those.
That's the first time I tried one. Was it in chocolate form?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
And I do
I
think
think
there's a.
both times were chocolate. They were like Ferrero Rocher.
Oh, oh, I like this matcha chocolate bar. It's good. It's all.
Oh,
It's good. It's good. But I do think there's a version of me that's done drinking like heavily by 40.
okay. I could see that.
Yeah,
And
I
in
think part of it,
fairness,
like I want to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to taper down for health reasons. You know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. All of this stuff takes a toll.
Mhm.
In fairness, I don't drink heavily. I'm good with two
Oh, I do.
cocktails. even when I was in the club with my friend and he had a section, I had maybe 2 drinks as a pregame because, as we spoke to, drinks are $50 now. But at the club, having access to this section and assorted alcohol, I only had a shot. I didn't even
Oh,
drink at the
baby.
club.
I can
So it's
clear a
like I
bottle
just need
during the
like a little
pregame.
buzz. I don't need to do the whole shebang
Yeah, I mean, I think my issue is
anymore.
it takes so much for me. Like I'm a
So
tank,
you have a
so it
high
takes. Yeah,
tolerance.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, this can't be good for me.
See,
like,
that's why I just stick to
like,
my
I'm, I'm
vodka
I'm carrying a
martinis.
bottle of tequila before the pregame. Like that's a problem. I mean, not before the pregame, during the pregame. Like that's a
I was
problem.
about to say, now hold on, Denver. Let's wheel it before the
No, no,
pregame.
no.
God damn.
Before the function, but during the pregame, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we might
Sometimes it's easy to and do that. For me, it's wine. It's easy to
mm,
be pouring up the wine. And it's like, damn, we didn't finish the bottle, or I didn't finish the bottle. But
yeah.
I try to stay away from the wine because of the sugar. And that's why I also stick to martini. I know a martini and a
Mhm.
linear martini. I'm not talking about espresso or lemon drop. I'm talking about a vodka martini, no
Olives?
vermouth. A little, oh yes.
Oh
I
yeah.
had one last night. It gets me right. Like all I need, 2 of those, and I don't need another drink. I'm
Yes,
done.
I need like 4.
Yeah, Denver.
And then I'm kind
Yeah.
of buzzed. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a super high
I
tolerance.
know. I know.
Maybe I am Charlotte. So then we get
Okay.
like I said, these 2 are out of their element. Harry has to go to the restroom. He's 4 drinks in. Speaking of 4 drinks, he's 4
Speaking of
drinks
4
in.
drinks.
And I was cracking up at this episode because as a woman who loves rompers and jumpsuits,
Oh my God.
I have been there before, Harry.
Have you peed on
It has
yourself?
happened.
It
Huh?
has?
Yes, it has.
Oh my
It
God.
has happened. I should mention it hasn't been full, but
Mhm.
like the bladder dance happens, and um, I at one point, famously Gabrielle Union. I don't know if she still does this, but at one point she was drinking a gallon of water a day, which I've
Mhm.
now come to learn is too much water to
Mhm.
drink in a day. Like you could get poisoned, literal
Mhm.
like water poisoning. And so I remember when I first moved to LA, I tried doing a bottle of water a day. I mean, a gallon of water a day. And what I learned in that journey is that when you do something like that, it does not give you time to do the pee dance.
Mm.
Your body says, I have to pee, and it's coming now, at least for me. I did not have time to wiggle and do what I had to do. And there were times where, yes, I was like, so now I time it as a 37-year-old. I time literally like a little kid or an elderly person. Let me use the bathroom. My body's not telling me that I have to use the bathroom, but let me try. That's when I wear
Oh,
rompers and
see.
jumpsuits, it's very let me try, because if I can't easily get out of that, if it's a more structured jumpsuit, rompers I
Mhm.
can deal with. If it
Mhm.
is a jumpsuit and it's more structured, it can have. I remember I was at an award show and I wore this gorgeous jumpsuit, but the jumpsuit, it had buttons on the front. It
Mhm.
also had a belt that tied and a zipper, one of those, those like tiny fly zippers on women's
Uh-huh.
clothing.
Uh-huh.
And the zipper was from the armpit down to the hip.
Oh
So
no.
it was that structured. It was a discreet zipper. But I
Mhm.
remember going to the restroom and I was like, I'm about to pee on myself and I'm gonna have to go home. The award show was underway and I was like, I am going to have to go home because I have buttons to undo. I have this belt that's got to go through a loop, be untied, and I have to be delicate with if I break this zipper, the
You're
whole
fucked.
structure
Yeah.
of this romper, yeah. My,
Yeah.
sup- my skims are showing, like it just,
Mhm.
and it did not happen. But I say that to say in the past, yes, it has happened. And if any of you all, man, woman, or otherwise,
Mm.
are part of romper and jumpsuit culture like I am, I'm sure I'm willing to put money that has happened to you as well, especially
I
if you enjoy
mean,
a drink or 4.
I'm someone who pees all the time. Like I'm just I don't say a chronic peer, but like as soon as I have to go, like I don't care what I'm doing, I will stop what I'm doing and I will
Uh-huh.
go pee. I don't care if I'm out shopping. I don't care if I'm in the
Now, is it your
club.
body telling you that you have to pee, or is it one of those let me just try things that I
Oh no,
mentioned?
I drink a lot of
Let me
water.
just try to
I drink a lot of
go.
water
Okay.
and a lot of like these workout supplements, they just make you pee all the time. And I'm not
Yes.
like the feeling of having to hold pee, I do not like at all.
No.
Like I hate it.
So
I hate
uncomfortable.
it.
So uncomfortable.
I don't play those games. So even like when I was in high school, like my mom would be like, if you have to pee, just go pee. I don't care what the teacher
Mhm.
says, just go. And so I'm
Oh
just
God,
used
I
to.
forgot. Yeah, we used to have to raise
And
our
so
hand and
yeah,
get the
yeah,
pass and stuff.
yeah. So I'm always used
Yeah.
to just going. Like, which I gotta pee. I'm going to pee.
Well, Harry, luckily his jeans are black and not blue,
Thank God.
because he pees on himself, and he's 4 drinks in, as I mentioned. He said he couldn't figure out the Japanese denim button matrix. So I don't know where they were shopping for them jeans, but he ends up going
You could
home.
just go to Old Navy.
Yeah, they were struck. I just don't know why he didn't size up. He kept complaining about the fit of the jeans, and it's like, why not just size up or get a different fit,
or different cut?
Yeah, that's what I mean, like a different cut of the jean. But yeah, Charlotte keeps the night going. Harry goes home. So then we get Carrie and Aidan. They're on the phone. Carrie seems a bit irritated throughout this whole phone call, even before Aidan doesn't say anything.
Something's kind of off. Like something was kind of off. Yeah.
She seems like she's forcing it a bit throughout the entire duration of this phone call. But she reveals to Seema, she reveals that she and Seema will be driving to meet him. Like, don't worry, you don't have to come pick us up. I'm renting a car. Aidan insists on driving for lunch. Then we get Seema knocking on Carrie's door, and she comes bearing gifts. A bucket of KFC, which also is making me mad. I know that you have to eat for TV. I know there's a certain way. Like, I've been on sets. And I was like, oh my God. The way that they were pinching off of that chicken and throwing it in the bag.
I know.
It was making me so mad. But you have to eat for TV. So Seema finally has her fried chicken. And of all places, you're in Virginia, girl. I know that they got chicken huts and chicken shacks that you could have gotten you a bucket of chicken from that was not, the commercial KFC.
You just,
Yeah, I get it. You don't, and Seema's not in a mood to be disappointed yet again. So she's tried and true. Like KFC, it just is what it is.
Exactly what you're gonna get every single time.
You know exactly. And so they're having the fried chicken. And what I loved about this conversation is the lesson that is discussed applies to both of them, which is basically closed mouths don't get fed. Because Seema's still talking about work, and Carrie's still talking about the nuances of Aidan.
Yeah,
you don't ask, you don't get.
You spend so much time working on something, whether it's a relationship or your job, and for it to not kind of pan out the way you hoped in the end, it's like, what do you do? Do you raise a fuss and, ask for what you want and hope it changes? Or do you just continue to sit there quietly
and have the courage to leave, much to Seema's point?
Or that.
You have to have the courage to leave. If your needs are not being met, you have the courage to leave. It makes me think of that viral clip of the Braxton sisters when Tamar says Evelyn told them, if you ain't gonna let that man cheat in peace. I mean, what is it? What did she say? It was something. It's a meme because it sparked a lot of debate. Basically, if you're not going to leave, then let him cheat in peace. We're not about to keep having the same conversation.
I mean, points for me.
If you're not going to have the courage to leave, then let that man cheat in peace. I think that's like the gist of it. And so that can be applied to any situation. If you don't have the courage to make any moves, then you are a willing participant in your own suffering, I guess.
I kind of agree.
I love that Seema provided a different perspective for Carrie when Carrie was kind of talking about how Aidan's not really like plugged in and not really, inviting her. And Seema's like, well, do you think this easy breezy approach, AKA, as I call it, the cool girl, this approach, he might have assumed that you're just not uninterested, like you're uninterested in staying. That's why I said it never pays. You have to communicate. It never pays. If that's not who you are authentically, it does not benefit you to play that role ever.
At all.
Ever. So then we get the next scene. Charlotte and her coworker, Leela, they're out. And I noticed that
having a good time.
The couple starts getting real relaxed. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Leela's talking about feeling on Ross' dick. That's the Dutchman. She's feeling his dick through his pants and getting excited and ready to head. She about to kill herself if she
we don't talk about this at the gallery. So I don't know why we're doing it now.
But it also speaks to, it makes you think of like the company Christmas party and stuff. The different sides of people come out when you're in different settings.
Yeah.
I can think of some personal stories myself. As a Black woman, I feel like I've always been conditioned to keep it together, even at the Christmas.
No, you can't
company Christmas party.
You cannot wild out at the company Christmas party. You're not allowed. You cannot.
However, others do, and you pick up a lot of information.
Right.
A lot of
but then you don't wild out, and then next Monday, did you have a good time? I couldn't tell if you were having fun or not. I'm like, I was having a great time, but
is everything okay?
I can't have the time that you have.
No.
If I did, we'd be having a very different conversation right now.
I'd be all different types of bonquishas and shenanigans in the group, in the Slack channel.
Okay.
But
Again,
But
different
so they're
podcast.
like I said, it's getting real loose. And at this point, it's 3 a.m. I don't see how Charlotte's doing this. It's 3 a.m. And I know that this is TV, but I said, Harry didn't check on Charlotte not once. He went home, he showered, and he went to bed.
I mean, maybe he did. Maybe we just didn't see it.
Because the sun was up when Charlotte left this club. But nonetheless, they're keeping the party going. Charlotte's getting sleepy. And I don't know about you, but Leela orders 2 espresso martinis and told them to keep them coming. Now, I love an espresso martini, but espresso martinis do not, if it's 3 a.m., that's not going to keep me awake. It's going to take a very powerful jolt to keep me awake. To your point, I guess that's why people are sniffing booger sugar to stay awake.
They won't keep me awake, but if sometimes when you go out, you're kind of tired, like you're not really up for it. If I have it like at the start of the night, it'll kind of like, okay, bring me present, if that makes sense. But it won't keep me from sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also espresso martinis are dangerous when they're homemade because they're so easy to drink. If you got all the good, Irish creams and Baileys and stuff. When I was in New Orleans, I have cousins.
Out.
You said what?
They're dangerous when they're out because that coffee.
Right, but it's something. Moving. When I see that damn shaker, I become a bartender. And when I was in New Orleans, I have cousins. We went to Costco, and they got their tequila, these jumbo bottles. I got my vodka. No one was drinking the vodka but me. And then, but when it came to mixing, and I was making lemon drops, that vodka was gone like that. And people were like, we can't even taste it. We can't. And we turned up, okay? We turned up.
Clear shit during a pregame. You just get to drinking, especially if the drinks are good.
And I love to hold court. I love a conversation pit.
Yeah.
As soon as I can upgrade my apartment, I want a living space that has a classic, traditional 1970s conversation pit.
Love that.
Oh my God, a dream. And overlooking a view, preferably. I'd host all different types of conversations there and focus groups and parlor dinners and things like that.
Yeah.
I did have in this scene though. I love seeing Charlotte loosen up. Anytime we get a scene when Charlotte's loosening up, I really like it. I really do. So now we're in the bathroom and the party favors are being exchanged, aka cocaína. I'm in Miami. Cocaína.
Okay.
And this is when Charlotte tries to tell Rolf that Leela has a crush on him, but she can't even finish her sentence before he intercepts. And tries to stick his tongue down Charlotte's throat.
Sidebar, I love how you keep names in your notes because these side characters, I don't even bother. I'm like, oh boy, the girl, the loud girl.
Yeah, I'm adamant about trying to get their names. I panicked about, I forgot about our friend Amanda. I had to go back and get her name, the publisher.
I'm like the editor lady.
No, I'd be sick because she called him the Dutchman. So I have Rolf, aka the Dutchman. And so he kisses Charlotte. She's offended. Of course, as these things typically go, Leela is not his type. I felt for her. She doesn't know it yet. But I'm also so glad that she didn't see him kiss Charlotte because imagine what that would have done in the workplace.
Drama.
Yeah. Drama.
For sure.
Charlotte leaves the club, and like I said, the sun is up. In my notes, I say Harry isn't concerned. The sun is up. We then get the next scene. LTW. She gets back to work. Grace is there, and it's kind of tight in that room. Grace is packing up her things. It's her last day. It's now Friday, so it's her last day. She's telling LTW where things can be found, different files and hard drives, and things are awkward between them. LTW finally, after 8 years, come on now. LTW apologizes and reveals that her reaction was based in fear, scared for the future of the project, which I think is so understandable.
It was honest.
I think it's understandable. You give 8 years to yourself, and now you have the added pressures of these execs talking about Michelle Obama. Like, there's so much that she has to dedicate to this project, and it seems never ending.
Yeah, I'm glad that she apologized. I'm glad that she came to her senses.
Yeah.
And again, it was honest. It was honest. So
it was an honest moment, and they were able to end on a good note, which is good.
Yeah. And I love it. And I didn't say it earlier, but I do love that this situation happened between two Black women, just because I think there was like an underlying added layer of friendship that was, you know what I mean? Even though
sisterhood, if you will.
There we go. Exactly.
Camaraderie and sisterhood.
Exactly. And I felt like that added some depth to the situation in the moment.
So now we're near the end. Carrie and Seema, speaking of energy being tight, Carrie and Seema, they're running late. The energy is off, and Seema clocks it. Carrie, what's the tea, bitch? It's high energy. Are you making me uncomfortable? It's frazzleness. Carrie reveals that she's flustered because she's still thinking about that Aidan thing, how he did not invite her to stay, and that's supposed to be they're supposed to be 10 toes down in this relationship.
Like, I'm about to
And I
give you
think
a
that
key to
Carrie,
our house, and you're not inviting me to stay.
mhm. And Carrie, in the seat of her soul, knows that this relationship isn't going to work out. That's what she's ignoring, is her
Yeah.
internal compass that's informing her that this is for a good time, a temporary time. This is not your guy, girly pop. Of course, I laughed at this scene because Carrie is ridiculous. She wouldn't be Carrie if she wasn't. Girl, why is your driver's license, what is it, 8 years suspended, 2017?
Yeah,
Great
but
picture.
makes sense. Makes sense because now she's driving in New
Right.
York.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
does make sense because she's a New Yorker.
yeah,
And so it's like, if you're in New York City, it's not like she's in Rochester where you need a
right.
car. Like,
No, and
so
big have drivers and she takes a taxi. So I mean,
or she
yeah,
walking down that sidewalk getting read by Miranda.
okay.
So Seema, saves the day, puts her license down. Then we get Anthony. He's outside of Hot Fellas, and he is struggling. People do not want samples of that bread. He's also unzipping his romper. Apparently, he's not hot enough. And then we get
Poor
Giuseppe.
Anthony.
He saves the day. The bulge, Giuseppe and his bulge shows up.
Yeah.
And we got everybody from women, men, and everything in between saying, I'll have what he's having. So now Anthony gets the business. Yay.
Yeah, good for him.
As we round things out, Seema and Carrie, they're now on the road, and Ryan FaceTimes. So Carrie suggests that they pull over, like, girl, you are not about to be FaceTiming while driving, especially if there ain't no phone holder.
Right.
Like, you're not about to be holding this phone FaceTiming while driving. So Carrie suggests that they pull over, and I have in my notes that as soon as I saw those spikes, I knew some bullshit was going to happen. Yeah.
I knew. Yeah.
Then from there we jump. Charlotte's at work. This is like I feel like this is a scene setting us up for the next episode because Charlotte's at work putting in eye drops. She's exhausted. Some woman named Alexis rolls up. She's an art buyer, and she's going to give Charlotte the commission. Good, great, congratulations.
Yeah. And I mean, I think to me that was more like, sometimes you just got to stick to what you know and what you do.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Okay.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. You don't have to be out at 3 a.m.
No, you have your place, and what's for
That's
you.
That's their method.
Stick to what works for you.
Yeah, good point, Denver.
Yeah.
Then we get Carrie getting back in the car, and she asks Seema, like, well, what's the verdict? And Seema reveals it's not possible to add her name. And they told her it's not possible to add my name, so take it or leave it. And so from there, I was like, okay, Seema's going to keep her job. She's going to grin and bear it and keep her job. But as she's leaving the parking lot, she, of course, hits the spikes. She wasn't paying attention, and the tires pop. And she misses the sign. This is my favorite writing, that when the writers get to doing shit like this. She misses the sign. She damages the car tires. And now they're stranded.
Well, let me tell you what got me. Carrie was like, you didn't see the sign? Carrie, you saw the sign and you saw where she was going and didn't say anything?
Also, there were men that were like, hey, miss. Hey. And mind you, they weren't yelling from across the parking lot. These men were like, they could have actually knocked on the window.
Yeah.
If they wanted to. Yeah. They could have tapped on the window. And I love that Seema was like, well, the silver lining, this was the sign from the omniscient, is it says, do not back up. We're not moving in reverse. We're moving forward. That's how she interpreted it.
I would have interpreted it the same way.
Oh, me too. As someone who's in her woo bag, I definitely would have been like, God, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening. We're moving forward. We're trying things different, which is always so scary. And you know what? To Seema's credit, I'm someone who's at a crossroads in my career right now with determining what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. The industry looks really, really funny. We're dealing with an unpredictable political backdrop where aspects of it are predictable, aspects of it aren't. And, journalism is looking kind of weird right now, and I'm like, which direction? I can't predict which direction the industry is going to blow in. And it's also exhausting trying to predict that. And so I really appreciated this scene because it is a sign we should always be moving forward. Always.
I agree.
Aidan then shows up as, what did he say? The goober?
The goober.
The country Uber. Yeah, he shows up. And that's when he asked Carrie to stay. So she's very excited. I did think that what was interesting is when he pulled up, Seema says, Aidan, don't back up. Am I reading too deep into this? Like, yes, on one hand, she was warning him about backing his car up, but on another hand, in the woo, Sex and the City writing style, that could have been something else.
I think you're right.
But yeah, so Seema then is like, girl, drop me off at the airport. She's inspired, which I admire someone who has been dealing with not feeling inspired and feeling bored with life. Like, Seema's got a new battery in her back and she's eager to return to LA return to New York and start brainstorming and getting the wheels turning. What irritated me is they forgot their luggage. Now, I didn't see how that was realistic.
Yeah, that would have never happened.
That would have never happened.
Especially waiting for the tow truck.
That would have never happened. Also, I would have been fearful because in the world that we live in, that doesn't exist in this world that they live in, they're never going to see that again. And if they do, things are going to be missing. Yeah. You have designer luggage.
Absolutely.
Going to the yard. To the tow yard. It's going to be gone, sister. Yeah. You better have some air tags in there. Yeah. And so Carrie kind of like shrugs it off, which I guess to her benefit, at least she had her MacBook in her purse. She had 2 outfits and lip gloss. I'm guessing the lip gloss is in the purse. And so the 2 outfits might be goners. We don't know yet. That's yet to be determined. So this is when things get a little sketchy. We're in the final scenes, and Aidan, as they pull up, he reveals to Carrie that he did not tell his sons that she was coming.
Strike
so
one.
What type of game are we playing?
Strike one.
What type of game are we playing?
I'm
because you knew that I was coming. I guess maybe he meant, but at some point, Carrie, you know what I just thought about? He knew that Carrie was coming into town and they agreed to lunch. It seems like him inviting her to stay was a last minute decision. So that's why his sons were never included in knowing that Carrie was actually coming. That's still no excuse though.
At all.
I'm going to be part of your life.
At all.
I'm here to stay, aren't I? Like I'm part of your life.
I'm so mad. Like this
I can't stand him.
So
because it's some BS going on. It's some BS going on. So it's just, it doesn't make sense. So he doesn't tell his sons that Carrie's coming, and he's putting Carrie in the guest house.
Well, let me back you up for a second. He said that they talk every night about the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So did you not know that when you made the decision to invite Carrie over, that you didn't talk about it the night before? Surely you did.
Maybe he made the decision that morning.
Maybe he did. Then you need to make another decision to
tell them.
Tell your kids.
Because if I'm not mistaken, these boys are all teenagers, right?
Right.
What's the big deal? Are they homeschooled?
We're gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going because we're gonna wrap this up because yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then he puts Carrie in the guest house, which at first I was like, brr, but also it was like, never mind, because of course I want to be in the guest house. If I were staying, like, things are already kind of weird between them. I don't want to sleep next to you. I want my own space.
No, balance is fucking off, because I'm here to give you a key to our house and I can go to your house. You're putting me in a guest house. Like, why am I letting you into our house? Here I am thinking we have a house, yet I'm in your guest house. So am I a guest in your life?
Yes, you are.
That's crazy to me.
Meanwhile, the password to the alarm system is Carrie and Aidan. Let's not forget that at Carrie's house. So they're in different worlds. And so I noticed that this strange reaction when Carrie pulls the Adderall out of her purse and says, oh, before I forget, the Adderall that Kathy requested for Wyatt.
Yeah. What's that about?
And then we see Carrie. She's doing her closing monologue. The episode ends. Before we get into predictions, how would you rate this episode?
8. I was thoroughly entertained.
I agree. It has a lot of entertaining moments. Now, let's talk about the BS.
Their wife is in that house.
You think Kathy's in that house?
Kathy's in that house.
I didn't think about that. I think that Wyatt does not need the Adderall. I think that Aidan might be an addict. Or Kathy might be an addict. I think that Wyatt might be nursed. He might be just fine.
I think that.
And letting Carrie see that would shatter the narrative that Aidan's been entertaining for these last few months. I think Wyatt is just fine, and I don't think he needs the Adderall. I think the Adderall, based on Aidan's reaction, I don't think Aidan's reaction was rooted in a violation of like Kathy going over his head to get this from Carrie. I think that there might be some addiction going on.
I think there's addiction going on. I think Aidan is taking. I think Wyatt was having a hard time. I think Wyatt might be having a hard time because Kathy's having a hard time, and I think Aidan's taking care of them both. I think Aidan's trying to help
Kathy seems
Kathy.
pretty well off. Remember the room that she called Carrie from, or the office or whatever? She seemed pretty well off.
Yeah, until
She
you have a
seemed
bad
like,
night. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
addiction's funny like that. Like her calling
yeah.
for Adderall from like there's something very weird about that.
I can't wait to see where this goes. But that is my prediction. I think that LTW.
And wait, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back up
okay.
to last season. Because if Wyatt's grabbing beer and crashing cars and clearly has a substance abuse problem, they're pulling him off of Adderall anyway. Like they're immediately gonna put him on a non-stim.
That's why some BS is going on, in my opinion.
Something's afoot, and the wife has something to do.
Yeah, they're up to no good, and I think Aidan can't be trusted, and Carrie's gonna gag. Carrie's gonna gag. I think LTW is gonna gag as well because next week we get what's his name, Marion. She think the new editor comes in, which is McCod Brooks. I can't remember the character's name. She's gonna gag.
Sorry, keep going.
I just was saying, I think that the attention that he's going to give her is going to cause trouble in her marriage because she's going to see where Herbert falls short, or where he's been falling short.
I can see that.
You know, a cute man comes into the picture and tells you, "Why do you put up with that? You don't deserve the Mario song."
Yeah,
baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt?
For sure. I know what I was gonna say. Or Aidan and Kathy, they're playing house to help Wyatt. So they're acting like they're together, doing stuff, and just to kind of keep the illusion up to not let Wyatt spiral.
Yeah. Either way, we can agree that some BS is going on over there.
Absolutely.
I think Harry and Charlotte are just fine. I think Anthony and Giuseppe would be just fine. And we see Seema, her coworker Ryan, gets spicy next season.
Yeah.
I mean, next episode. What is wrong with me? I need another cup. I think it's the humidity of Miami. Like, I'm like, the first episode I was sleepy. Second episode I felt on point. And now it's like hazy. I feel like Miami has a filter on it. I am doing the show from outside on the balcony of this hotel room.
Yeah, it looks so nice.
It's a beautiful view.
It looks stunning. I see the reflection behind you a little bit. Like, it's really pretty. Wow.
And so I just feel like there's a filter. It's so hazy. But nevertheless, we ran out. We're giving you all like a long episode, and I have 20 minutes to get to the venue for my call time.
Well, we're gonna let you go.
I need to freshen up. This was great. We want to hear from you all. Speakpipe.com/we're just like that. Let us know what you think about episode 3. Also, be sure to give us 5 stars, rate, comment,
review, all the things.
Yeah, stay in the fold, tell a friend. And until next week, when I'll be back home, will you be back home, or are you traveling next week too?
TBD, but I'll know this week.
Oh God, this is so funny.
I know.
But okay. Okay, Denver, this was great. And we'll talk to you all next week.
Yes. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.